Hello, this is Greg at Reserve My Court, and today we're going to be going through the duration rule. This is one in a multi-part series about each of the rule types that we have, so you may have been following along on some of the others, but as always, going to show you where we are. We're under club settings, and then I'm over here under amenity rules and fees, and I'm going to click the add rule button to get started. And I'm going to select the rule type here at the very top. I'm going to scroll down a little bit and get to duration. And this gives you a little explanation about what this rule is supposed to do. It says it limits how long reservations can be. So that's pretty straightforward. You can either set a maximum length or a minimum length with each rule, and we'll go ahead and do both. So let's say we're going to limit somebody to a maximum of 2 hours per reservation. So I'm just giving it a name so that when I look at the rule later, I'll know exactly what it is, but it could be any name you want. And then I'm going to select here. I've got options for maximum length or minimum length. So we said it was going to be a maximum length, so we'll stay with that. That's mostly what you'll be concerned with, but some folks have set up both, and I'll show you that in a second. And then you're going to set the length. You're just going to pick from this list. We're going to do 2 hours. So a maximum length of 2 hours. And you can apply it to any time of the day, or you can select a specific time period. So if you have certain times where you might want to maybe restrict people more tightly with how long their reservations can be, but then at other times be more broad, you can do that. I'm going to eventually do this for all times, but let's say, again, if you wanted to, if there were some really busy times and you said during that time you can only reserve for an hour and a half, you could create that rule, and then you could come back and create a second rule that said, hey, at the other times you can do 2 hours. So you can do that however you want. One word of caution about the start time and end time of any rule that you're setting up is that it defaults here to midnight to 12 midnight, but I want to caution you because you really shouldn't use these defaults, and the reason is simply this. Midnight only really happens one time a day, and these times are meant to be in the course of one day. Obviously, it's going to repeat for each day you apply the rule to, but it kind of confuses the software a bit if you say midnight to midnight. So you should select something that has an end time that's after the start time. And if you really need it to be all day like this, then just select any time of the day, since that will apply to all the times that are available to you. So I'm going to just select any time of the day. But again, if you did select some specific time, make sure you don't leave it midnight to midnight, and just make sure the end time is after the start time. So I'm going to go any time of the day. With all the rules, you have this option of setting, hey, when does this rule start and when does it end? Again, 99.9% of the time, you're going to say this rule starts immediately and it never ends. But maybe you have something that's seasonal, and in that case, you might have a rule that only applies at certain times of the year, and so you can start this rule when you want and end the rule when you want. You can also apply the rule to any day of the week or days of the month. Again, most of the time it's going to be day of the week, and you can select specific days of the week if you want. I'm going to leave it for all the days of the week because we don't really care. We're going to select all days of the week for this limitation. You can apply it to very specific courts or amenities. I'll do it for all, and again, you can apply this specifically to certain user roles. Again, this is probably one you might not apply to your super admin role. You may want to have more flexibility to block off the entire day or do whatever you need to do. So you probably wouldn't necessarily apply this rule to you as a super admin. I am going to do that for now, like I have been in all the other videos, so that we can just see the impact of what it is when this rule is put in. So I'm going to submit this now, and then we'll go and try to make a reservation, and you'll see the impact of this. So when I go over to the club schedule now, and I go to make a reservation, I'm just going to scroll down here a bit, and I start trying to make my reservation. Whoop, you can see once I get past 2 hours long, I've got 5:15 to 7:15 selected now. Once I go past that, it doesn't let me do that anymore. And even if I come here and I say, you know what? Oh, look, it's still, this list has now been narrowed down to 2 hours, so it doesn't let me go any further than 2 hours. So one last thing I want to go show you is if we go create a minimum rule, we can do that as well. And some people have done this because, they say, look, people accidentally make reservations that are only 15 minutes long, and we don't really want that. So you can prevent it if you go duration, and in this case, let's just say we'll do minimum 1 hour reservation. 1 hour reservation. And we do, so now we're going to say, hey, what's the minimum length? And we're going to select the minimum here for 1 hour. Again, we'll apply it any time of the day. We'll start it immediately and never end. And we'll go all 7 days of the week and all 4 courts. And again, we'll apply it to everybody. And we'll submit that. Now, one of the things you're going to see is on the schedule itself, excuse me, you're not really, because you have to drag and drop your reservation here, so to speak, I can't really enforce, a minimum because it's, you have to start with something minimum to even draw, right? But once I get to here, you'll see this only goes down to 1 hour. And even if I try to do a half hour here, when I get to the very first screen, it's going to already have this selected as 1 hour. So it's going to enforce this and force you to make a 1 hour, in this case, up to 2 hour reservation. So that's really how the duration rule works. As always, if you have any questions about this rule, any other rule, or any of the other features on Reserve My Court, we're happy to help and assist at any time. Please just give me a call at 678-880-9042, or you can get me by email. That's Greg, Greg, @reservemycourt.com. Thanks so much.